Good turnout.
We have to move together as people in practice and as democracy in motion, a kind of energy that transitions out all toxic energy in people and in behavior of people on the earth. Let's begin that journey with each other. The future is in our hands and in our hearts, not in people who are in office.
Actively fighting for about since I was 15 and I'm 20 now. We live in a world that's plagued by greed, especially by those in power. Where with nearly no incentive, we show up for them, and we vote for them, and we organize as communities of color, as people. They're giving us faceless claims, and we show up in record numbers for them. And what are they doing? And this fight has been going on for too long. It's a long and gruesome fight, and I think it's important that we keep going, that we protect our water, and our earth, and the things we love that keeps us fulfilled. But like I said, it's a long and gruesome fight, and I'm so grateful to see everybody here amongst a pandemic, fighting for water, fighting for people, and fighting for our future generations. And have a good day.
Give it up for them, please.
Shante 4 years ago, I could not utter those words. Even though my family, even though I come from a long line of strong Lakota, Standing Rock women and men, I've been displaced from my community all my life. My grandfather left the reservation and came to St. Paul during the relocation. And even though he instilled in us the pride of our heritage, we weren't in that community. But we knew in our heart that we belonged to the land and the land belonged to us as Dakota people. But fortunately, 4 years ago, I was elected to the House of Representatives, and we created the very first Native American caucus. 4 women for the first time in our history were able to create a caucus of Native American interests, fighting for Native American rights, fighting for treaty rights and sovereignty rights, and believe it or not, we got shit done. But along that way, I was so blessed to be encouraged and supported and mentored and taught by people like Maggie Lorenz. She's the one that taught me my language. Here I am, you know, in my mid-50s, and finally learning my language and how that roots into the ground. So when I talk about some of the great things about being an elected official, I would say the number one thing is being connected back to my ancestors. And that connection brings me here today. And it brings me here today with hope and honor, but it also makes me so worried about the future. The future of this land that we stand on, the future of Turtle Island, because we have people making decisions without us. And that has been the way it has always been for our Native folks. And so when Sam made the comment about those that were able to make the decision that treaty rights or sovereignty didn't matter or didn't factor into the decision to allow Line 3 to go forward, I'm sure that every single one of us felt that rumble of horror and fear. And the fact that while there's an executive direction out there that we are supposed to all our government agencies and people are to recognize the sovereignty and the treaty rights of our American Indian people here, once again, it is discarded when it suits those who want to run these lines through our country, through our state. And we all know this is such an unnecessary effort. We need to make that movement towards a cleaner economy. Yes. We need to make sure that we are taking care of this world, this land right now for the next 7 generations. And when they were looking for all the arguments why we needed this Line 3, jobs was a big one. Who doesn't need a good job? But we all knew what was going to happen, and it has happened. All those jobs, how many of them are really Minnesota workers? Very few of them. And you know what they do? They hire people on as subcontractors. Because when you have subcontractors, you don't have to pay any benefits. You don't have to pay health insurance. You don't have to do any of those other things. So what does Line 3 do? They subcontract. And who does that affect? That affects our people. And once again, it is taking advantage of the disadvantaged. And then I want to talk about our missing and murdered Indigenous women. Three years ago, I introduced a bill in the Minnesota House of Representatives to create a task force. It took me 2 years to get that, which is pretty, believe me or not, that is pretty fast in the legislature. But we got it done, and they gave us very little money, and they gave us very little time. But we did it. We did it, and we put a report out in December. And the people were really upset that we would even assume that any of those workers would be active in the sex trafficking or taking advantage of our women and our two-spirits. They wanted me to prove that that was happening anywhere. Well, one of the problems is that nobody ever collected the data. Imagine that nobody collected the data on missing women, missing Indigenous women, or murdered women. And when they did, it was messed and confused with so many other things. And they wanted me to prove that the extraction industry and bringing all these men into one place, into man camps, was not a threat to communities. That's what I said, bullshit. Because we know it's happening now. We know it has happened for generations. It has happened since the first white man stepped onto this continent. And so we're not going to be quiet. We're not going to stop. When people call me and say, hey, there's trafficking at that gas station on the corner in Bemidji, or there's stuff going on, dating sites are blowing up. Well, you bring 4,000 men into a little tiny place, what's going to happen? And then I get a call that some of those Enbridge folks that are earning good money, a living wage, that they're probably sending out of our state, out of our economy, are now taking advantage of homeless shelters so that they don't have to pay for hotel or their own housing. And those are the games that happens when we let this kind of an industry come in and run the show. Every one of us here right now said no to Line 3. And we're not the only ones. All across this country, people are saying no to Line 3. So this year, I was fortunate to be elected to the Senate. And we had another groundbreaking moment because I am the first Native American woman, the first Indigenous woman of North America to be elected to the Minnesota Senate. Here we are, 2021. And we are just getting that representation. And let me tell you, representation makes a difference. Because I've been able to get funding for our Indian schools. I've been able to create that task force. I've been able to work on jurisdictional issues with tribal police and county police. I've been able to get extra funds for arts and entertainment for our Native Americans. And that's because somebody stepped up to represent. But it wasn't just myself. It was people like these women behind me and other people around me that said we need folks that are going to stand up and speak their truth. And this isn't an easy thing to do. 4 years ago, I'd be shaking in my boots. But this is so important. And I just want to say, Wopala Tonka, Lamia to all of you for coming out here today on this COVID day, this cold day, and honoring the earth, honoring the water, honoring our Indigenous people. And thank you to our dancers that come every single time that they are invited. And thank you to the beautiful people bringing back here. And so I just want to one more time say, speak English, keep it up. We've got to make sure that Biden hears us all the way to Washington, D.C. So let's hear it good. Stop Line 3! Stop Line 3! Stop Line 3! Well, I'm really humbled and honored to have been asked to say a few words. And I am so proud to stand with my sister, Mary Kunis, and I'm so humbled to have been getting to know Mary over these past months. I'll be really short. What I have to say today is just a couple things. We know that now is the time. Scientists the world over are telling us we got 10 years. 10 years to turn this ship around and to do a 180. That is not a lot of time. We simply do not have time for Line 3. We do not have time to go backwards like that. And one of the things that I think that we encounter a lot officials is they want to make us choose. I just saw this today on my social media. They're trying to make me choose. You have to choose between workers and a future for our planet. Who are you going to choose? They keep trying to divide us, and they will keep trying to divide us. But the work of elected officials is easy compared to the work that people are doing up in Palisade, compared to the work that all of you are doing. I want you to just stop for a moment, and I want you to look to your left, and I want you to look to your right, and look at all these beautiful faces, their eyes over the mask. Look at all these people. And just feel that love and feel that goodwill. We will do this. We have to do this. We will not choose. We will respect workers' rights. We will build a better future for ourselves and guarantee a good future for our children and our grandchildren and the generations to come. So thank you so much to all of you for being here and for standing in solidarity against
You know, I don't even like the colonial caste system like that, but I like Jen and Mary a whole lot. Can we give them a cheer again? And now we're going to make our way to the Army Corps building, but before we do, I'd like to acknowledge that we've been holding this shit down for a good minute, so I'd like to just shout out real quick and please shout back, whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! Alright, let's go take over the Army Corps. very welcome to introduce our next speaker, a powerful ancestor, and I am the true God. Okay. Again, like I said, a water protector, a strong ancestor. He comes from the relaxed band of Ojibwe. Please give it up to Tanya.
Forgive me, Zakanashi Wuruwin. Can I get a shout out for the Blacksmith? Come on! Blacksmith, come on! Blacksmith, come on! Alright, we got a bunch of Blacksmith killers here in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. Migrants are showing up down here. It's been a pleasure taking a ride out of Palisade and coming down here to visit with you all. And I want to show appreciation to all of you who have come up to Palisade. Midwives are coming up there and visiting our camp and to be able to see what's going on up there. Midwives, Palamia, Dakota, Winyan for being here. Up there in northern Minnesota, there are Dakota graves up there that we are watching and protecting up there also. Under Big Sandy Lake, there are Dakota graves up there too. So we are doing our best to be able to protect those graves too. Miigwech, we're standing in solidarity here with us. Yes, these are our lands. I want to let you know too that law enforcement has been doing some surveillance, reconnaissance work on us. They have been flying helicopters over us today. That's just the beginning. And two, they've been flying airplanes over the camp. Making sure that they want to know who's all in our area there. So, what else are we going to come to expect next? Those of you who were out at Standing Rock over at the Dakota Access Pipeline Movement know what comes next. Next comes the dogs. Next comes the tear gas and the rubber bullets. Do we want that? Yes or no? Just recently, within the last 5 days, we had a Native woman over at a gas station up in McGregor, Minnesota. She was in line doing her thing, trying to pay for her grocery shopping there. A pipeline worker without a mask came up behind her and started acting derogatory behaviors and derogatory language. She told him to back up, and what did he tell her? Ooh, you can back that thing up my way. It's like, dang! Boo! For us up there in northern Minnesota, that's just a prelude of what's to come for the missing, murdered Indigenous women. We do not want that or tolerate that in our communities. That's right, hell no. The other thing too, we want to know where that Ojibwe Warrior Society permit is. Where's that permit at?
Where's that permit at?
Where's that permit at? Where's that permit at? The Ojibwe Warrior Society is standing in front of you asking where that permit is. There is no documentation of that. Enbridge did not have us even on that map when they decided to put that pipeline through. They did not. They don't even recognize us as human beings, so to speak. I'm angry, I'm mad, and I'm very tired. I've been through this process for the last 11 years and watching what's happening. I've been out at the Dakota Access Pipeline also, and I went on a 28-day hunger strike for the fresh, clean water that we are to have on these lands. And I'm here to prove to you that water is life. I'm getting really emotional now because, you know what? They want to put that pipeline through. I'm thankful for Unchimaka, my Mama Aki, for doing what she does during this time, in the winter time, and freezing up the waters. Reason being is that they cannot put that horizontal drill through the waters when it's frozen. Thank you, Unchimaka, for doing that for us. Because the reason for that is because if they try to drill through underneath the water there, we cannot tell if they broke through an aquifer. And the sign for that would be the cloudiness of the water and the poisonous stuff that they send through the pipe. So I'm asking you today to come up and visit us. Come up and see what we are facing up there. There are several camps up there right now. Camp McGizzy, the Mississippi, the Welcome Water Protector Center, Red Lake Treaty Camp, and I know that there are others that I'm missing right now. Come up and join us, stand with us up there. Show Governor Walz that there are people who care. Show Governor Walz that we do not want this pipeline to come through our territories. And that's what I tell DNR, and that's what I tell law enforcement, that they have no jurisdiction. They have no jurisdiction in 1855 treaty territory. I told the government officials that showed up over at camp over there, game's over. The lease is up. The land goes back to the Indians. Anyways, Black Snake Killer! Black Snake Killer! Black Snake Killer! I love you, Black Snake Killer.
Well, first of all, miigwech to Tanya for being here and also for sharing those words and being so welcoming at the Water Protector Welcome Center. My name is Shania Matson, and I'm also up in Palisade. I want to talk a little bit about Palisade, actually, because there were some questions earlier from some of the leaders who spoke about how we got here. And I think that Palisade is a really good illustration of how we got here. I grew up in Palisade, so it's a town of about 100 people. So there are more people here in the street right now than in the town that I grew up in. And the reason that Palisade is there as a town is because of the railroad. The railroad could make a crossing of the Mississippi River on the high bank in Palisade. So it's there as a town because settlers were part of moving, part of an extraction industry from the beginning of the very town. So when people talk about you know, that just really, sorry, I lose my words because I'm getting very emotional also. We've been having a lot of conversations at the Welcome Center in Palisade about how this space right there at the Mississippi River where Enbridge is right now, they've got pipe in the ground. They have welded pipe together and it's in the ground and they've got a drill pad ready to drill beneath the Mississippi River. That this is kind of a portal. And we have a choice about how we're going to move through that space and what's going to come next. And are those of us, like my family, settlers, are we going to continue those patterns of extraction? No, we're not. Are we going to believe that that is our, like Pete, our way of life, Staver says, that this is the best we can do. These are the jobs we need. That's the future. We need to not settle for that, right? We need to stand with Tanya and with other Anishinaabe people who are saying that this is the 1855 treaty territory. We are all treaty people. It's our responsibility to uphold those treaties and to protect the water. But some people have forgotten. I hear around town a lot, you know, people say, well, I don't really want the pipeline, but it's going to happen anyway. It's inevitable. We need those jobs.
Jobs aren't worth the damn plan.
That is what really drove me to move back to Palisade and to be there at the Welcome Center, because I believe that part of stopping Line 3 has to be imagining and creating what's next. So close your eyes for a minute and think about it a year from now or 2 years from now. Where are we? What are each of us as individuals doing? What did we do? What did we do to stop this pipeline? And are we going to be back here talking about a mine, a Talon mine, you know, in Aiken County? You want to mine copper and nickel in a wet, swampy area there? Or Polymet?
fight back.
We won't be able to stop this cycle of extraction until we address the underlying harms and the need for healing. And those of us who are settlers, to do that work of repair. And part of that repair work is really to stand together. Come north. You have a responsibility. This is your drinking water that folks are standing up to protect. Be there. Witness. And then use whatever power you have to do something. So we created a space there, north of Palisade. You can find us, just follow the river north, 15 miles north of Palisade. And that's a space where you're all welcome to come and to do that work of repair and of healing. You know, the local law enforcement, they want to paint us as criminals. They're circling choppers, they're telling stories, they're telling lies in a small town. That hurts people. That puts lives at risk. We need you to be there to tell the real story about what's happening and to look at that pipeline construction and tell us who are the criminals. And then also to see the work that's being done with love at all the camps. Folks are doing this work because of deep love that they have for their people and for their place. So I just want to invite you to come and be part of that, and I'm really grateful to be here and to see so many people here in the cold. So miigwech and wopira, and thank you for being here. I think Tasha, yeah.
Bonjour everyone. I just want to take a moment and recognize that when Fond du Lac signed the approval for the Line 3 Enbridge replacement project, they took away the voice of the other Anishinaabe other Anishinaabe nations. And in the spirit of that, I want to ask my sister to come up here and speak for Red Lake. Sasha, can you come up here? Give it up for my sister.
My name is Shardon, so I'm from Red Lake, I'm from the Bear Clan. We're very much water people up there, and we really pride ourselves on our clean water up there. If you guys look at the Minnesota water table, all of our water up there is still in very good condition. And I just don't know why they want to come to our land where it's still pure, clean water. All our wild rice beds are up there. That's very sacred to us. And we have to protect our wild rice at all costs, and if it takes us coming from up north where we're safe in our own homes, come down here to speak to all of you. I hope that our words are heard. We stand strong with the other women here from the other places. We all stand together, and I hope that you stand with us. Help me good.
Bonjour. Hello everyone, my name is Tasia Marno and I come from the Fond du Lac Reservation. It's been a long 7-year fight. It has been a long 7-year fight, and I want to thank everyone here today who's been involved in that fight in one way or another. To all the people who have been lobbying, all the people who have been our keyboard warriors, everyone who's been sharing, showing up, and throwing down miigwech. But now's the time for action. Now's the time for action. Back home, they're burying this pipe. They're burying this pipe. And I can't stop this alone. And it's because of community that I can stand here today as a landowner. Because land back does matter. In under 30 days, we were able to raise $30,000 thanks to all of the people standing here today. And this isn't the first time a camp has gone up in Fond du Lac. Maiga and Mapua ran, and now Magizi will fly. And I need you, each and every single one of you. I need you to join me on the front line. has approached me, and they've asked me to sit down and meet with them. But I will never sit at the table with my enemy. And if Enbridge wants to meet us, they will meet us on the front line. And I need you there with me. We will stop this pipeline together. All of us. Because united, Enbridge doesn't stand a chance.
When I say land, you say back. Land! Back! Land! Back! Land! Back! That's the mentality we need. Too many examples of so-called United States violating treaties. They're doing it now. Now our water's at stake. For what? A foreign company to make a quick buck before renewables kick in? Exactly. Eco-terrorists. It ain't right. I spoke about it earlier about who's at the table. Do we need to be at the table? Maybe. But we definitely need to fight this thing.
Flip the fucking table.
Flip the table.
Get rid of the whole entire colonial caste system is more like it. Flip the fucking table. But before we get to that, organizing needs to happen.
Yes.
These camps, they need resources. They need wood. You know, they need blankets. Each one of them has a list on their Facebook page. I implore you to check it out periodically. Organize amongst your homies, your other relatives. You know, bring them up. You know, come up for a weekend. Come up for the weekday. Sacrifice that time. Put your bodies on the line. Because it's all too often our clay, our women, our two-spirit who are on the front lines. Where are we at? I ask you, where are we at? The front lines. That's where we need to be. You know, and it looks differently. Haitian mentioned keyboard warriors. They're important too. We need them. That land back didn't just happen. Took a lot of people sharing. And it's a lot. We know. It's a lot to pay attention, to be involved day after day. But could you imagine being on the front line? Waking up to the cold, going to sleep in the cold? To put your body on the front lines? Exactly. Wake up, go up there, be an ally, unsettle yourself. You are a settler on this land. So, I want to open this up to our relatives at the Land Steward Project to talk more about other land projects. We got our relatives from that?
Right here.
What's happening? Give it up for them, young.
Hi, my name is Taylor with the Land Stewardship Project. I live in St. Louis Park now, but I grew up on a farm in northeastern South Dakota, and I understood the sacred nature of our relationship with the land, water, and our fellow humans. For far too long, our government has aided and abetted terrible injustices against these lands, the water, and these humans. As a society, we've accepted the idea that corporate short-term gain is more important than the health and well-being of our future Earth and its people. Is this the legacy that we want to leave? Must our children pay for the sins of our greed? How is it so easy for us to invest billions to prop up dying industries, but so hard for us to find the money to invest in clean, renewable options that are inevitably the way of the future? Our rural communities deserve long-term green solutions. They deserve jobs that will pave the way for cleaner tomorrows. Our Indigenous brothers and sisters deserve more. They deserve to have their trees upheld and honored. They deserve their land and water free from toxic oil and greed of foreign entities. We all deserve a future world that we can be proud to pass down to our children. Wedding Line 3 Proceed doesn't allow for any of that. Our governor has failed us, and we ask that President Biden step in and stop Line 3 immediately. revoke federal permits, put people and the land above all corporate profits. We all depend on having long-term and good-paying jobs that are in harmony with the earth. Rural, urban, white, black, indigenous, we all depend on having clean air to breathe, soil to grow good food, water to drink, and a climate that is not only livable but healthy. We desperately need to transition to a carrying economy in which all of us thrive. No exceptions. We need our elected officials to recognize the urgency of this moment and take action immediately. I know we'll be here, continuing to pressure them until they do. Thank you to every single one of you here right now for taking action and showing our collective power. Together we will stop Line 3.
And just because I love to hear them speak, give it up for Tasha one more time, y'all.
Bonjour, everyone. I guess I'll talk a bit about camp. We purchased 9.35 acres of land thanks to the donations of hundreds and thousands of people who believe in us and believe in the vision that we have for that spot. We closed on the 9th, and thanks to Birdie here laying on the street right there, we had shop set up by the 10th, and we are up operating, and every day. It's every day we're out there. You know, they're moving machinery. Birdie's body's right in front of that machine. They're digging up dirt. We're putting someone in that hole. Because in Fond du Lac, we didn't sign for that permit. Kevin Dupas Sr. does not speak for me. The RPC does not speak for me. No governing body can speak for me.
No government like no government.
Absolutely. You know, and I didn't come here to simp for Biden to stop the pipeline. I came here looking for warriors. And I know that there's an Ogeechee spirit in each and every single one of you. Now I hold no hope that the great chief of the white people are going to come and save me. I got 4 children at home. I have 4 children at home. And I can't promise my 15-month-old son that he's going to grow up gathering wild rice. I can't promise my 3 beautiful children that they won't become a statistic. Because growing up, they teach you 1 in 3. So when I see those white trucks on my land, that is a direct threat to my children. And whenever Enbridge Boots hits ground, I will be there. We will be there. But I need bodies. I need bodies to fill those boots. I need more people on the front line. So I'm here today to ask you to join us at Camp McEasy. Because I need you. I can't do this alone. No one can. And the way we move forward into a better world is together. That's what the 7th Fire Prophecy is speaking of. It's not about me and my people. It's about our non-Indigenous allies recognizing the harm that they caused and moving forward in a good way. And we do that together. So I invite you to come to Camp McEasy, where we will feed you. We will feast with you. And together, we will build a world that in 100 years, when our grandchildren speak about when we stopped Line 3, we will be people worth speaking of. So tomorrow, I ask you to join me in the heart of the beast. There in Superior, Wisconsin, at the Douglas County Courthouse, at 10 a.m. I ask that you come, stand with us and bear witness, because we need you. Miigwech.
And again, check out Tasha and Camp McEasy's updates on their Facebook page at Camp McEasy. Search it. It's 2 words. And this has been an incredible experience shutting shit down with you all. It's been awesome. I'm going to open up the closing. Jessica is going to sing us a song. Have us leave it go away.
Man, it is good to be here today. Oh man, all these people just lifted me up. It's exactly what I needed.
Hello, my name is Jessica Garraway. I'm with Extinction Rebellion and the Workers' Defense Alliance. I'm a black anarchist, I'm a water protector, I'm a fighter for the people. I want to share this song with you today. The words came to me thinking about some of the work that I was a part of during the Dakota Access Pipeline fight. A crew called Mississippi Stand in Iowa. We fought by doing blockades and lockdowns to stop the boring underneath the Mississippi River, to stop that project. And these words also came to me when preparing and getting ready for this Line 3 fight as well. So if you could join me and sing with me, that'd be wonderful. The tune is familiar, Wade in the Water, but what we're gonna do is we switched it up. I switched it up a little bit. So I'm gonna sing Wade in the Water, Wade in the Water, Wade in the Water, and then you're gonna sing Protector's Gonna Defend the Water. Okay? Ready? Okay. And feel free to clap, feel free to join in. Wade in the water, wade in the water, oh, wade in the water. Protector's gonna defend the waters. See the pipelines coming round. Protector's gonna defend the waters. We're turning their plans upside down. Protector's gonna defend the water. The water's sacred like me and you. Protector's gonna defend the waters. And those who pollute the water are damn fools. Protector's gonna defend the waters. I said, wade in the water, wade in the water, wade in the water. Protector's gonna defend the waters. I said protector's gonna defend the waters. All right, thank you so much. We're gonna beat this pipeline.
I always hate following up after great acts. Give it up to Jessica, everybody. I'm inspired. I'm hopeful. You know, nearly 600 people showed out today. Right, goddamn. And, you know, stood out in the cold. So again, whether it's making your way up north or getting some mutual aid for the camps and donating to their PayPals and Venmos, you have it within yourself, in your circles, to make a difference. You don't need to stand in front of the pipeline itself, but we need all the help we can get. So I implore you, after this, check out the Facebook page, the pages, check out what's needed, get involved, and let's stop a damn pipeline, everybody. It's over now. I know, right? Kind of like a therapist session at this time. We can march back to Kellogg for those who parked over there. If not, feel free to go however you please.